Joe, a man in his late 50s, found himself at a crossroads in life. His beloved wife, Mary, was gone. She had always dreamed of visiting Ireland. Now, Joe, from America, was on a mission to fulfill that dream, carrying Mary's ashes with him. He rode with a heavy heart, the weight of his loss a constant shadow. He was determined to honor Mary's memory.
Mary, I hope you can see this. I'm doing this for you, for us.
Joe had promised Mary that he would scatter her ashes in Ireland. It was a promise made during their last days together, a whispered vow amidst the sterile walls of a hospital room. He remembered the way Mary's eyes lit up whenever she talked about Ireland. She was captivated by her rich family history there, its vibrant culture, and the raw beauty of its landscapes. He knew that he had to fulfill his promise. He owed it to Mary, and he owed it to himself.
I can almost hear you, Mary. This one's for you.
The ferry crossing was a blur, a melancholic haze of churning water and mournful cries of gulls. Joe stood on the deck, his leather jacket zipped tight against the chill wind, and watched as the Irish coastline slowly emerged from the mist. Ireland. A land of myth and legend, of ancient stories and haunting melodies. Now he was here, carrying her memory with him like a precious cargo. He took a deep breath, the air thick with the scent of salt and earth, and felt a sense of determination settle over him.
We made it, Mary. We're here.
His first stop was Dublin, a city that thrummed with a vibrant energy that both surprised and invigorated him. He navigated the bustling streets, the air alive with the sounds of laughter and music, and felt a sense of wonder begin to chip away at the grief that had been weighing him down. He visited Trinity College, its historic library, a treasure trove of ancient knowledge, and imagined Mary by his side. He stood in awe beneath the vaulted ceilings of St. Patrick's Cathedral, its stained glass windows casting a kaleidoscope of colours across the stone floor. In the evenings he sought solace in the warm glow of traditional pubs, the air thick with the scent of hops and the sound of fiddles playing lively jigs.
To you, Mary, always.
But it was the open road that beckoned to him most strongly. Leaving Dublin behind, he set off on his motorcycle, heading south towards the rugged beauty of the Wicklow Mountains. The scenery unfolded before him like a living tapestry, a breathtaking panorama of rolling green hills, valleys carpeted in wildflowers, and shimmering lakes reflecting the ever-changing sky. He rode through charming villages where time seemed to stand still, their streets lined with quaint cottages and welcoming pubs adorned with colourful flower boxes. With each passing mile, the weight on his heart seemed to lessen, replaced by a sense of peace and a growing appreciation for the beauty that surrounded him. He realized that Mary wouldn't want him to be consumed by grief. The sun was beginning to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows across the rolling green hills as Joe rolled his motorcycle into a small village nestled in the heart of County Kerry. It was a picture postcard scene with quaint cottages lining the main street, their windows glowing with a warm, inviting light. He had been riding all day, the wind whipping through his hair, the engines hum a steady rhythm against the backdrop of the Irish countryside. He was tired but exhilarated, his senses alive with the sights, sounds and smells of this ancient land. He pulled up outside a traditional pub, its facade adorned with colourful flowers, and a weathered sign that read the Cladda Inn. As he stepped inside, he was greeted by a wave of warmth, the air thick with the aroma of peat smoke and the sound of laughter and lively conversation.
Joe thought to himself, this is a far cry from the bustling streets of America, but it feels like home.
Behind the bar, a man with a kind face and eyes that twinkled with good humor was polishing glasses. He greeted Joe with a nod and a smile, his voice a warm baritone that echoed the friendly atmosphere of the pub.
Well now, what can I get for you, sir? You must be weary from your travels.
Joe ordered a pint of Murphy's, the dark, velvety liquid, a comforting presence in his hand. As he took a sip, he felt a sense of ease wash over him, the weight of his journey momentarily forgotten. The publican, a man named Seamus, proved to be an engaging conversationalist. Joe found himself sharing stories about Mary, about their life together, and about his mission to scatter her ashes in this beautiful land. Ah, lad, grief is a heavy burden to carry. But remember, it is love that gives it weight, and love never truly dies. The pub had begun to fill with locals, their voices creating a comforting hum of conversation and laughter. Joe found himself drawn into their circle, sharing stories and jokes, the warmth of their company chasing away the chill of loneliness that had been his constant companion back in America. He listened to tales of Irish folklore, of fairies and leprechauns, of ancient battles and enduring love stories. He learned about the history of the village, the hardships and triumphs of its people, and felt a sense of connection to this place and its inhabitants. One woman, her face etched with the wisdom of years lived, spoke of loss and resilience, her words resonating deep within Joe's soul.
Grief is like the ocean. It comes in waves, some gentle, some fierce. But even in the stormiest of seas, there is always a horizon, a promise of calmer waters ahead.
As the evening wore on, Joe felt a sense of peace settle over him. He realized that Mary's spirit was with him, not just in the ashes he carried, but in the kindness of strangers, in the beauty of the Irish landscape, and in the enduring power of love. Joe rode his motorcycle along the winding coastal road, the Atlantic Ocean stretching out before him like an endless expanse of blue silk. The air was alive with the cries of seabirds, their white wings flashing against the clear sky. He was heading towards the cliffs of Moher, a place that Mary had always dreamed of visiting. He had seen pictures, of course, but nothing could have prepared him for the sheer scale and grandeur of these towering cliffs that plunged dramatically into the churning sea below. As he parked his motorcycle and walked towards the edge of the cliffs, he felt a sense of awe wash over him.
This is for you, Mary, all the way from America.
He found a secluded spot, away from the other tourists, and sat down on a grassy knoll, the wind whispering through the long blades of grass. He closed his eyes, and for a moment he could almost hear Mary's voice, soft and clear, as if she were right there beside him. He remembered a song she used to sing, a haunting melody that spoke of love, loss, and the enduring spirit of the Irish people. He had always loved to hear her sing, her voice filled with a passion and depth that touched his very soul. He reached into his pocket and took out a small heart-shaped locket. It was Mary's locket, a treasured possession that he had carried with him from America throughout his journey. Joe took a deep breath, the salty air filling his lungs, and then, slowly, he began to scatter Mary's ashes into the wind. The ashes, light as air, danced on the breeze for a moment before being carried away by the wind, out over the cliffs and into the vast embrace of the Atlantic Ocean. He watched as they disappeared from view, a bittersweet ache in his heart, but also a sense of release, of letting go. He knew that Mary would have wanted it this way, her spirit set free in this wild and beautiful place. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the cliffs, Joe stood up and turned away from the edge. He felt a sense of peace settle over him, a peace that he had not felt since Mary's passing in America. Leaving the cliffs of Moher, Joe felt a shift within him. The raw grief had softened, replaced by a melancholic peace. He knew Mary's spirit was at ease, her ashes scattered in a place that held her dreams. Now it was time to find his own peace, to navigate the road ahead without his beloved co-pilot. He rode north, the miles ticking by like the steady rhythm of his own heartbeat. The Irish countryside, so vibrant just days before, seemed to reflect his own somber mood. He stopped for the night in a small town, the name of which he couldn't quite recall. All that mattered was finding a warm bed and a quiet place to gather his thoughts before heading back to America. The next morning, Joe woke with a start. The room was bathed in a soft grey light, and for a moment he couldn't remember where he was. Then the memories of the previous day came flooding back. The cliffs of Moher scattering Mary's ashes, the long solitary ride. He rose from the bed and went to the window. The town below was just starting to stir, shopkeepers opening their doors, a milkman making his rounds. Joe took a deep breath and went to pack his things. He folded his clothes carefully, his movements mechanical, his mind elsewhere. He lingered over Mary's small suitcase, the one she always took on their trips back to America. He rode his motorcycle to the port, the engines rumble a familiar comfort in the morning quiet. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting a golden hue over the landscape, and the cool breeze carried the scent of the sea. The cruise ship journey was a blur, a hazy montage of churning water and the mournful cries of seagulls. Joe found himself lost in thought, the rhythmic motion of the ship lulling him into a state of reflection. Joe stood on the deck, his leather jacket pulled tight against the chill wind, and watched as the Irish coastline slowly receded from view. The waves crashed against the hull, a constant reminder of the journey he was on. He thought about Mary, about the life they had built together, the dreams they had shared. Each memory was a bittersweet reminder of the love they had, a love that transcended time and space. He knew that a part of her would always be with him in the memories they had made, in the love they had shared, in the very air he breathed. Her presence was a constant, a guiding light in his darkest moments. He had come to Ireland on a mission to fulfill a promise, to say goodbye to his beloved wife. The act of scattering her ashes was a final gesture of love, a way to honor her memory. But he realized that his journey had been about so much more than just scattering ashes. It was about finding peace within himself, about coming to terms with his loss, and about embracing the future with a renewed sense of purpose. It had been about confronting his grief, about finding solace in unexpected places, about rediscovering the beauty of the world even in the face of loss. The vibrant culture and serene landscapes of Ireland had given him a new perspective. As the cruise ship approached the American coast, Joe felt a glimmer of hope flicker within him. The familiar sights brought a sense of comfort, a reminder that life goes on. He didn't know what the future held, but he knew that he was ready to face it, one day at a time, carrying Mary's memory with him, always. With each step forward, he felt a little stronger, a little more hopeful, ready to embrace whatever came next. Back in America, the familiar routine of everyday life felt strange, almost alien. The streets he once knew so well now seemed like a distant memory, a different world altogether. The quiet hum of his motorcycle seemed out of place in the suburban streets, a stark reminder of the vast landscapes he had just traversed. The roar of the engine, once a symbol of freedom, now felt like an echo from a past adventure. His house, once a sanctuary of shared laughter and love, now felt eerily silent. The walls, which had witnessed countless moments of joy, now seemed to close in on him, amplifying the emptiness. He unpacked his bags, each item a tangible link to his journey to Mary. Souvenirs from quaint villages, maps marked with their routes, and trinkets that held stories of their adventures together. He hung his worn leather jacket on the coat rack by the door, its pockets still carrying the scent of Irish air, and the faintest trace of peat smoke from cozy pub fireplaces. The jacket, now a relic of their shared journey, held memories of every road they traveled. He stood for a long moment, gazing at the framed photograph of Mary that graced the mantelpiece. Her smile, forever captured in that frame, was a beacon of the love they shared. Her eyes, sparkling with life and love, seemed to follow him around the room. It was as if she was still there, watching over him, guiding him through the silence. He could almost hear her laughter, feel the warmth of her hand in his. The memories of their time together played like a soft melody in his mind, bringing both comfort and sorrow. He knew that the pain of her loss would never fully disappear, but he also knew that he had found a way to carry her memory with him, not as a burden, but as a source of strength and inspiration. Her spirit had become a part of him, a guiding light in his darkest moments. He had scattered her ashes in the land of her dreams, but her spirit, he realized, was everywhere. In the warmth of the sun on his face, in the laughter of children playing in the park, in the simple beauty of the world around him. Every moment, every breath was a reminder of her enduring presence. Joe made his way to the motorcycle shipper, the rumble of his bike a bittersweet symphony in his ears. Each vibration of the engine seemed to echo the memories of countless journeys, the wind in his hair and the freedom of the open road. The open road had called to him, had helped him heal, but for now it was time to find his footing on solid ground. The miles he had traveled were more than just distance, they were a testament to his resilience and his quest for peace. As he handed over the keys, he felt a pang of sadness, a sense of closure to this chapter of his life. The keys were more than metal and plastic, they were a symbol of his journey, his struggles and his triumphs. But there was also a glimmer of anticipation for the journey ahead, a journey that would be different, inevitably marked by Mary's absence, but a journey nonetheless. He knew that new adventures awaited, filled with unknown challenges and unexpected joys. He boarded the plane, his thoughts drifting back to the rolling green hills of Ireland, the places he had been and the people he had met. Each memory was a thread in the tapestry of his life, rich with colour and emotion. The rugged beauty of the cliffs of Moher, standing tall and resolute against the crashing waves, a reminder of nature's enduring strength and beauty, the warmth and kindness of the Irish people he had met along the way. Their smiles and stories had woven themselves into the fabric of his journey, leaving an indelible mark on his heart. He thought about Mary, about the love they had shared, the memories they had made. Each moment with her was a precious gem, sparkling in the treasure chest of his mind. As the plane soared into the clouds, he closed his eyes, a single tear tracing its way down his cheek. It was a tear of sorrow, but also of gratitude for the time they had shared. He knew that life would never be the same without Mary, but he also knew that he would find a way to keep her memory alive in his heart, to carry her spirit with him wherever he went, to honor her spirit by embracing life with the same passion and zest that she had always shown. He would live for both of them, cherishing each moment as a tribute to her. The open road of life stretched before him, and Joe, carrying the spirit of his beloved Mary with him, was ready to ride. With every mile he would celebrate her life and the love they had shared, forging ahead with hope and determination. Unlock the secrets of the world and make your dreams come true with our channel. We'll guide you through the most incredible destinations and share our expert advice for your next adventure. Don't miss out on any of our thrilling videos. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, and if you'd like to support the creation of more content like this, consider using our affiliate link for your next travel booking. It's a small act that goes a long way in keeping this adventure going. Let's explore the world together.